What is up, everybody? It's your boy Rogue here. So today's video, me talking to you guys about the most 5 common ways you guys will be cheated playing competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! This is on the local level, regional level, hell, YCS level, and even the national level. I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! For 20 plus years at this point, and these are the most common ways players are cheating in the modern era. So due to that being 2 YCSs this weekend, you guys gotta be on your P's and Q's when you go to these events. Before we get to the actual video itself, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button for more. Trying to get to 22K subs at least by the end of next month. And also be sure to check out my channel sponsor in the description down below to say you got some money. Imperium Duelist for 10% off and TradingCardMint.com for 7% off. So modern Yu-Gi-Oh, dog, man. A lot of ways people get cheated. I briefly touched on this in my video last week about 5 things I have about modern Yu-Gi-Oh players. Check it out. It did really well. Had a lot of controversy in the comment section, but it was really fun. I'll have it in the iCard up here. And a lot of stuff that you'll see in the tournaments nowadays, players will do every little thing they can to win. So I'm gonna start it off with number 5, man. Most common way you'll get cheated is bad rulings. All right, man, I need to win this one. Top deck, activate Droplet. What does Droplet do? Negate everything on your field. Okay, that works. Can I read your Droplet? Let me see your graveyard. Let me see Droplet. Bruh, you didn't send for Droplet. Oh, my bad, man. No, what, you can have it. Let's just go to game 2. A lot of the time, sometimes it's intentional. Most of the time, it's not intentional, at least in my opinion. Well, actually, rather, let me reverse that. A lot of the times, it's not intentional, because this happens to me as well. A lot of times, I might play a deck. I might do what they call soft cheating, which is I think a card do one thing because I really briefly skim through the card effect. However, the power does something completely different. Like, for example, a common thing back in the day with a lot of hero players, they were fusion destining and using any material to make DPE. But if you guys know, DPE says you need a level 5 or higher monster and a hero monster. So a lot of the times, hero players kind of mess that up a little bit. And a lot of the times, they were cheating people because of it. So just be on the lookout to make sure you guys read everything that your opponent's doing. Don't care about them complaining. Don't care about their frustration, because they will try to intimidate you. And I'd say air quotes intimidate you, because some people, they'll huff and puff and they'll give a little bit of attitude because they don't want you understanding everything they're kind of doing, which is cheating in and of itself. And that's how you know they're in that BS. A lot of just read everything. A lot of the times when people cheat over bad rulings, it really happens because they're playing too fast. You might take their word for it because this is your first tournament you're going to, first big event you're going to. And once you realize 2 to 3 turns later after you read their cards, you're like, hey, you couldn't do this effect 2 turns ago. So, and that causes a lot of frustrations, causes a lot of arguments, a lot of confusion. And I've seen players damn near getting into fist fights over this locally. So just be on the lookout for cheaters, man, because cheaters will happen. They'll do anything they can to win. Sometimes, unfortunately, like I said, it's not intentional all the time, but they will intentionally cheat you to get an advantage. This is a competitive card game. Just like in any competitive community, people will do anything in their power to win. Number 4, card swapping while searching. So, searching through my deck, searching through my deck. You ain't paying attention. Throw this mine. Throw that right there. Throw right there. Cool. Your ass now. So this kind of went semi-viral in the YugiTube scene during the C19 lockdown. There were a few players, actually. There was one in the OCG, and then there was one in the TCG. I forgot what tournament it was exactly, where they're searching through their deck while the opponent's turn. So let's say, for example, a lot of times people will have a card that says search X card, dump a card, or pitch a card. And a lot of the times when your opponent's searching their deck, if you might be reading their card to see what the card exactly does, like, oh yeah, go ahead, get your search, let me just read this card. They might unknowingly swap a card from their deck in their hand. Literally, I've seen people swap 2 cards, adding hand traps, adding board breakers. And a lot of the times, if you ever duel somebody and you felt like, why did he hold this board breaker, knowing damn well if he would have did it a few plays ago, he'd have been good. It's a good chance he swapped it in his from his deck to his hand. Or sometimes, this is very common as well, they swap cards from their graveyard with cards in their hand, and due to it being 6, 7, or 8 turns later in the duel, you might not catch it. So just be on the lookout for card swapping. That's very common. I've seen that a lot. I've even seen people literally have an extra hand. So what a lot of people would do, especially people who wear hoodies. I've seen this locally, and I've seen this at bigger events as well, where sometimes people will have a separate hand that's like broken, and they may draw their hand real quick. make a mistake and drop a card, which dropping cards happen, so you can't assume everybody dropping cards is going to hand swap, but you still got to be on the lookout. Tell them to leave their hand on the table, because literally they'll keep their hand in their hand, they'll put their hands down with them, go off frame to grab a different card, and then swap their hand with a hand in their pocket. Players have been caught by this in the past, and Konami give out harsh penalties for players that do this because it's very scummy, and a lot of times players used this back in the day, especially during the crush card era, where literally if you if you're going first, open up crush card saying in, you're gonna win because you're gonna set saying in, set crush card, flip crush card up during your opponent's draw phase, go search out Yada Garasu, Yada Lock, and it's GG no rewill play. So just make sure to keep your eyes on your opponent like a hawk. You ain't gotta stare at them like this with your eyes all buck, but just make sure you're paying attention to every little thing they're doing. If they have to pick a card up from the floor, hey, just tell them, hey man, leave your hand on the table while you do it. Just make sure everything's good and you're good to go. If they get offended, who cares? Let them. Like, some people getting their feelings about this card game, but literally, no one wants to pay their money to go to a big tournament just to get cheated. Number 3, stacking their deck and your deck. So, put that right there. Yep. Yeah, put that right there. Okay. Yeah, okay, cool. Here you go. A lot of times when people stack their own deck, you can't really stop it. And the way you know people are stacking their decks is if they draw good, if they're playing a deck that's inconsistent, but they draw good consistently throughout the entire tournament day, and you never see them brick once. I'll say an example, right? I'm not saying this is hero players, but let's say if you play against a hero player, right? And everyone knows Heroes is a brick fest. Everybody knows that. Hell, a deck like Ryzel can brick. But Heroes is a deck that can brick way more than a deck like Ryzel. If you see a hero player that goes 20-0, for example, right? It's a good chance something mischievous came along throughout the day. Not saying this all the time, because luck does play a factor in these things, but I just think it's very odd. A lot of people in general, not just calling out hero players, they'll play inconsistent decks, but they always draw good. It's because they're stacking. This is very common. It's been going on since the card games has been a thing. And the way that people do, they prearrange their deck before the tournament, before the round. And when they pile shuffle, they're really just arranging their deck in a way so no matter how you cut their deck, they're gonna draw a decent hand. The way to avoid this is just shuffle their deck really good. Do like this. Shuffle their deck. Don't look down. That's another form of cheating I'm gonna get into later. Just do like this. Give it a good shuffle, and you're good to go. Because if you don't, it's a good chance you might get cheated. This is something you can't stop. And a lot of times, if they're going first or going second, people typically stack themselves a good hand. So that way, at least going into game 1, they're good. Mid-game, a lot of time when you see them search for a card in their deck, they arrange their deck certain ways. Now, people might say, hey, this ain't stacking. It technically is stacking, because if you got to search a card for your deck, right, and then you add a card in your hand, and you get to arranging your deck before you shuffle it and hand it back to me to cut, you're unbricking your deck. People do that crap all the time. It's not cool. You can't really call that part out, but just be on the lookout like, okay, there's a good chance this person's stacking, so just be on the lookout for them and you're good to go. Now, when they're stacking you, for example, same concept of them arranging their deck. A lot of times people grab your deck, they look down like this, shuffle your deck while looking at your deck, and while they might not make your deck brick as much, some people are really good at this because they practice it at home in their spare time. Trust me, I know. I've seen people do it all the time. And they're literally arranging all of your good cards to the bottom of your deck. Way to avoid that, which is how they do it in the World Championships, just repile shuffle your deck. Honestly, if you feel like somebody stacked your deck, repile shuffle your deck and you're good to go. Also, just cut your deck in a good way and you're good to go. Give it a good clump shuffle, kind of like how you did your deck. At least that way, your deck is more randomized than all your good stuff being at the bottom. So yeah, just goes back to my number 4 thing. Just make sure you're paying attention, right? Number 2, now, some people may not say this is cheating. I think it's cheating. Fight me in the comment section for it. But extensive rule shark. All right, drop my turn. Oops, you know what? I don't want to do that one. Nope, you're committed. Don't care. Judge. Bruh, for real. I mean, I have another play. I literally just slipped out of my hand. I wasn't trying to do it. Too late. You already did it. You know what? Whatever, dude. I ain't got time for this. Bro, I can't stand rule sharks. Now, there's a difference between trying to do a take back 3 to 4 moves later, but I was literally seeing people normal summon the monster, and then within 2 seconds, I don't want to summon that. And then their opponent goes, Judge, he already committed to a summon. I feel like he already committed, and he made a mistake. That's on him, not me. Some people, these players are the scummiest players and mother effers in the world. Now, some players get to the extent of, they do it so much. I've literally seen judges at regionals and YCS tell people like, hey, we know what you're doing. Stop trying to shark. If you keep sharking people, you're gonna get a warning. Matter of fact, this is your warning. Shark somebody else, you're gonna get a game loss. And for good reason. Some people, they try to shark over every little thing. Somebody might say chain link 1, chain link 2, and then they're like, no, hold on real quick. Actually, no, let me do this chain link 2, then do this chain link 1. Judge, he already called his chain links, he confirmed it, and you're looking at your opponent like, bruh. Yeah, I did say chain link 1 and chain link 2, but I instantly changed my mind within a second. Like, this is not a video game. This is a card game. It requires thinking. And a lot of players, they don't care. They want to win by any means necessary. Now, mind you, if you're in a feature match, you probably can't get away with this. With complaining about them sharking you, because people do shark in feature matches. But a lot of the times, dude, I've seen people shark over everything. I've literally seen people shark over people arranging their graveyard. And the reason why they shark this way is to hope to get you a game loss. So, and it happens, like some regionals, some locals even, people will shark in order to take advantage of the win. Like I said, this is technically not cheating, but it's cheating. It's bending the rules in their favor to win. Very scummy. I don't like rule sharks. Like sharking over some, if you committed to your play and then go into 2 more plays and then try to do a take back, I get it. But when you just normal summon, oh my bad, I don't want to do that. Or if you activate a card, like, oh no, I don't want to activate that. I personally don't think that's a big of a deal. A lot of players are. Like I said, fight me in the comment section down below. However, just be on the lookout for that. Make sure when you're playing these cards, going to tournaments, take your time when you're playing. Take your time when you're playing, and you should be good to go. Don't commit to anything, because you might just run into a rule shark. And the number one way I see modern Yu-Gi-Oh players cheating, and I did touch on this in my last week's video about modern Yu-Gi-Oh players, is stalling for time. Now, draw for turn. All right, man, I ain't trying to rush, but we got like 30 seconds left on the clock. We got 1 card in hand, 1 card on the field. What are you gonna do? Let me see your graveyard. Let me see your back row. How many back row cards in hand? All right, set 1 pass.
Timing around.
Oh, damn, time got called. GG. Really? Everyone knows time is a thing in Yu-Gi-Oh. There's nothing wrong with winning in time. There's nothing wrong with playing burn cards for if you get into a time scenario, you can beat your opponent. However, a lot of players intentionally play slow to get you in time. The reason why they do it is because they know it's a good chance that they're not going to be successful without doing this. So they do it anyway to get any little advantage for themselves to win. For example, right? It'd be people who you guys, I've had this happen to me at tournaments, locally, regionals, YCS, all kinds of tournaments. I'm not talking about any one particular person. This happens all the time, whether if it's intentional or not. Sometimes it's definitely intentional, because when it's intentional, people usually try to give you attitude. So for example, I've had games where people literally were playing at a good, nice pace, but it's a grind game. We get caught in the time. Then they try to rush me. And I'm like, bro, don't effing rush me. You was taking your time. I'm gonna take my time. Don't rush me. Now, if it's 30 seconds on the clock and I'm like, 1 card in hand, I don't know, that's one thing. But people would do that. They'll play you, have no plays to make, look in their hand, look in their deck, take their time, look through your graveyard, with all intensive purposes to burn the clock in order to get a draw, especially if you're playing a deck that can burn your opponent in time. It's scummy, but it is what it is. Like I told you guys in my last video, if you have a deck that can play into time, meaning like if you're up on life points and you have plays to make, like special summon this, normal summon this, bring out this, to burn the clock, hey, that's the game. Basketball players do it. I've literally seen, I don't watch basketball, but I've literally seen, I have watched basketball before, and basketball players all the time, they're up on points. They don't stall that clock out. Why? Because they're doing something. As long as you keep the ball bouncing, it's not cheating. So if you're playing your game and you're playing in a time and you got a minute left on your clock and you know you can combo through time and beat your opponent, that's not cheating. It's messed up because you won that way, but hey, Tell Konami to fix the rules. People will take advantage of the rules. However, with that being said, players sometimes will play slow on purpose to get that winning time. So, with all that being said, man, what you guys think? Have you guys experienced this before? Let me know in the comment section down below. Also, I want to hear from you guys, man. Let me know how you guys like these videos. I'll be uploading videos consistently throughout the week. Hit the subscribe button for more. It's your boy Rogue Hero, and I'm signing out. Peace. See you guys in the next rant video. Peace.